don't get the full slate of games right away. We don't get that right away. They give us a handful of games, and then really the bidding starts going back and forth between ESPN and Fox Sports 1 as to who's going to get the particular college football game, the conference games. But what we got today was the non-conference games and the first conference game of the year. That's the USC game. And I know everybody was curious, what time's the BYU game going to start? My thought was, I thought it would start at about 7 o'clock. My thought was they'll play it at 7. It's actually going to be at 8:15 kickoff down at LaVelle Edwards Stadium. It's an ESPN game. It's on the mothership. It's on the big network. It's a Thursday night game. But, yeah, it's late. It's that 8:15 game on Thursday night, so you're probably going to want to call in sick or take the day off on Thursday or on Friday, which, by the way, it's Memorial Day or Labor Day weekend anyway. Many of you guys aren't even going to work the next day anyway. But 8:15 kickoff on ESPN. And, again, every game heard right here on ESPN 700. But that will be on the mothership itself, not the Deuce, not the Ocho. It's going to be on the main ESPN. But we do have some interesting start times here. The Northern Illinois game, the return game from DeKalb a year ago, will kick off at 11 o'clock. 11 a.m. at Rice-Eccles Stadium that second week of the season on a Saturday. 11 a.m. So that means our pregame coverage on ESPN 700 is going to begin at 7 a.m. It's an early game. So it'll be a brunch tailgate more than a lunch tailgate. You'll have to get your early beers going that day. Here's the most bizarre start time. I can't remember the last time Utah started a game at this time at home. They play Idaho State in the final non-conference game that second Saturday in September at 2:15 p.m. 2:15 p.m. at Rice-Eccles Stadium against Idaho State. Both of those, by the way, are Pac-12 network games. And then the first conference game, and it's the last kick time we have, is against USC on Friday night, September the 20th. Friday night, September the 20th in L.A. at the Coliseum. Anybody want to take a guess at the start time of that game? Anyone? 6 p.m. Mountain Time. 5 p.m. Los Angeles time. They're kicking it off on a Friday night in Los Angeles. I can only imagine what traffic is going to be like in and around the Coliseum on that particular day. Here's what I'm going to tell you. That Coliseum's going to be half empty. Well, it might be half empty anyway. They only really fill the Coliseum when the Trojans are really, really good. So it'll probably be a third full until maybe midway through the first half because traffic is going to be an absolute nightmare. That game is on FS1. And that's a primetime game, 6 o'clock Mountain Time, and, of course, right here on ESPN 700. So BYU, 8:15 kickoff. Northern Illinois, 11 a.m. kickoff. Idaho State, a 2:15 kickoff. And USC, a 6 p.m. kickoff. We really are running the gamut on these kickoffs, which I don't mind. We've gotten so used to in recent years the late kickoffs, and that's what I will say. I know people hate them. I'm not a huge fan of them, but usually that means you're getting a good television slot.